to the FIM CEV Repsol here in Valencia. The sun is out, the stars are shining in terms of the European Talent Cup. That's the next race up next here. Very excited for this one.
Wow, now that's a big umbrella.
It certainly is, yeah. Bigger than the guy's hat we saw earlier on today. So here then for the European Talent Cup in Valencia, 17 laps for the European Talent Cup riders, a 4-kilometre long circuit, 9 left-hand turns and 5 right. This is going to be very exciting indeed. Sorry about that, we're back. We had a couple of technical issues up here in the commentary box. There we are. So, European Talent Cup then. Let's talk a bit more about this then, shall we? Well, it's been an exciting few rounds in the championship thus far. Some brilliantly unpredictable racing, some brilliantly close racing as well, and that is exactly what we like to see. And this man here, Francisco Gomez, starts the race from pole position. How much are we looking forward to this? You bet we're looking forward to it a significant amount. This, of course, is the new breed of talent making their way into the international motorcycle racing ladder. Currently it's Manuel Gonzales who leads the championship, but this man here, 15 years old, Francisco Gomez, leading the championship. Oh, leading the field, I should say, rather.
Wow, that would have been fast.
Exactly, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
9th finish in the last races, he's leading the championship. That's great.
Exactly, yeah. He's doing all right for himself. There we are. We see the fans watching on, but Francisco Gomez qualified on pole position. Wasn't the fastest man in warm-up. That was the championship leader of Manuel Gonzales. 0.3 of a second ahead of Miguel Parra, he was. This is Manuel Gonzales. He starts from the middle of the second row.
He's consistent, 3 second, 3.
Absolutely, 3 podiums, 1 pole position. 14 years of age he is. Keep an eye out for him on the Hal Courier Racing Team. Just to mention, if you are tuning in for the first time in the European Talent Cup, then you'll notice that they're all on identical motorcycles. They are identical from the ground up. Straight out of the box Honda NSF 250R machines, and complete the same in every way, shape or form. No modifications allowed to them, no engine modifications, no suspension modifications. All they're allowed to change are the gear ratios, effectively, and perhaps obviously set up the suspension with the standard forks. There's Miguel Parra, the 15-year-old. 26 is the number he rides with. Consistent finishes, 7th, 7th and a 6th in Barcelona.
But always in the front. I always remember him being in the front battling. And you know, remember this morning we were walking down the pit lane and we were looking at their garages from the, you know, these boys, and some of the garages were as professional as the Moto2 teams, and it's incredible to see. And then you start going towards the end and you see the mom and pops you know, teams, which are great to see, because that was always the, you know, what it used to be like when my dad used to race. You know, you put the bike in the back of your van and go racing, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. There is Alex Toledo, 15 years of age he is. Finished 10th in Catalonia last time out, but nonetheless not doing too badly in terms of the championship. Alex Toledo sitting 3rd there on 39 points. I was actually just having a look at the championship the other day, and there is just 13 points separating the top 3 riders in this championship. So we could well see a brand new leader in the European Talent Cup before too long. We'll keep an eye out and see whether that happens.
Now I know why my sister never really liked coming to see my races out in the heat, because it must be just terrible to be up there in the...
Stood there all day. There is Andreas Perez, who's looking a little bit see-through today. Not entirely sure where Perez's bike is, unfortunately. We'll have to wait and see whether he's just a late comer to the grid.
Issue or something with it.
You can see there, though, that he's been very quick so far. Second in the championship, 45 points. Second last time out in Catalonia. Took the victory, though, in the second race, Albacete. Just to remind you, there was only one race in Catalonia. Likewise, there was only one race for the European Talent Cup here in Valencia, whereas in Albacete in the opening round, they had 2 races instead. That brolly, though, is coming in quite handy. We mocked it earlier on. I think it might actually be quite a useful thing for him, however. There's Pietro Pavalainen, Finnish rider. Absolutely came on song in Catalonia. 4th position, as you can see, after 2 DNFs in Albacete. No wins, no podiums, but 12th in the championship on 13 points. That podium finish last time out certainly helping him, and looking quick and looking consistent, and 4th in the warm-up this morning as well. So let's see how he gets on. All these riders, by the way, we should mention, are all on exactly the same compound of tyres. They're all on medium compound of tyres. Here's Simon Jespersen. Was talking to him earlier on this morning. He's got some new boots. When I say new boots, I don't mean new tyres, I mean as in new motorcycle boots. Unfortunately, he had 2 crashes in qualifying yesterday. Starts from 7th place. Was going quite well last time out, but unfortunately his clutch broke in Catalonia, hence the DNF you can see on your screen there. But as you can see, very quick so far in the championship. First in the opening race, won the first ever European Talent Cup race, and 5th in the second race in Albacete, and we'll be looking to try and make amends and hopefully get a good finish on the board. He said he reckons he can fight for top 5. We'll have to wait and see whether that will be the case. Starts from 7th on the grid. Be interesting to find out where this man will get on. Edouard Melgar, number 25. He was in and amongst the battle for the top positions last time out, was Edouard Melgar. And it was going very well for him, but then he got hung out to dry in the final corner. And it all went kind of wrong from him from there on, really, unfortunately. It just ended up falling back towards the end of that group and ended up finishing down in about 6th or 7th position for him. There's Iker Garcia, though, the man who took the victory last time out with the Reali Avintia Academy rider.
Not sure about consistency there. 15, 17, and a boom, a win.
Absolutely. He came on song in good form, I think, is probably the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Make a good break in the championship. No, he's really good to see. And I have to say that what the Reali Avintia Academy team are doing is just incredible. They've got 3 bikes in Moto 3, 2 bikes in Moto 3, 3 bikes in the European Talent Cup. I just want to mention this man, Jamie Davis, and I haven't actually spoken to his father this weekend, which is strange because we normally catch up, being some of the only English-speaking guys in the paddock, but I haven't caught up with him this weekend, but I'm sure he's very proud of his son. In 10th position, Jamie Davis, his best qualifying of the season so far. He qualified very well actually last time out in Catalonia, but had a grid penalty for cruising on the racing line, as did so many riders, and starts from inside the top 10, and I'm sure we'll
no, he's 13th.
I apologise. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. No, he is 10th.
Oh, he was
10th on the grid. There we are. Yeah, there's Beatrice Neela. She had a really good race in Catalonia. I know it says only 20th on the grid, but she missed the first 2 rounds in Albacete. But ended up getting her first finish on the board in the European Talent Cup last time out. But she's been battling injury. She had a pre-season crash in the Red Bull Rookies, a championship that she is also competing in. And she had a really nasty crash, and she fought through the pain, through the injury that she had. I think it was a broken leg or something similar to that. It was a really nasty incident that she had. And she's doing very well. Another man who did very well and caught our attention quite significantly was this man, Daijiro Sacco. No finishes on the board as of yet. He only made his debut, though, in Catalonia last time out. He was running well inside the top 10. He's
he looks young.
Japanese rider, 13 years of age, as you say, but has got a very Spanish look to him because he's half Spanish as well, as we understand. And starts from 12th position. He'll be looking to try and make some good ground in this race. Just had the tyre confirmation through. As we said, of course, all riders starting on the medium compound of tyre.
It makes a difference on these. The smaller the bikes, I think, the more difference it makes on the heat. And here you go.
Let's have a look at the grid then. So Francisco Gomez, Manuel Gonzales, Miguel Parra on the front row, Alex Toledo, Andreas Perez, and Pierre to have a line and keep an eye out for the fast FIM. Simon Jespersen heads row 3, the Danish rider, ahead of a Spanish trio in Edouard Melgar, and the winner last time out, Iker Garcia. Keep an eye out for the number 60 mile on the Reale Academy bike when he get the drag down to the first corner. Jamie Davis heads row 4 ahead of Beatrice Nila and Daijiro Sacco, Stefano Kristin, Philip Rihashek, and then Matthew Gregorio on row 5, Fernando Hernandez, then Alejandro Diez, and then Aurel Naivalark. And then row 7 is Vincent Falcone, another French rider ahead of Victor Alonso and Michael Kawakami, who's really struggled this weekend after coming on form in the opening round in Albacete. Jose Suarez, Falcaniello, Ontilis Prostate, then Lucas Vanderborn, who makes his debut at the championship, warm-up lap, and Callum Blackwell, and then Jack Hart and Colin Feldhazen complete the 29-rider strong grid as the Revs rise. We get ready to get these riders underway for their formation lap. But as we mentioned, Lucas Vanderborn making his debut in the championship, returning after breaking his leg in a pre-season crash. The German rider, he'll be, the Swedish rider, I should say, rather, he'll be looking forward to try getting a good finish and some good experience in this championship on the board. We should mention a bit of housekeeping. The former Samantha Johansson, the Swedish rider who missed Catalonia due to injury, likewise is missing here this weekend in Valencia due to recovering from that injury.
It looks like someone's missing.
It's Andreas Perez who's missing from the middle of the second row of the grid, so that's a big shame there for the number 77 on the Reale Aventura Academy bike. We'll have to wait and see whether he starts from pit lane or whether he's had a mechanical problem. I have to say, I was watching the Cuna de Campeones, sorry,
Cumpleaños, that's
Cumpleaños, his birthday. It's the championship, the birthday. But the Cuna de Campeones championship yesterday afternoon, and there were some technical problems on the grid. The way these guys just run to them, and they're running back, and there's such a frantic height of activity.
Talking about birthdays, it's my sister's birthday, so happy birthday to her if she's listening. But yeah, that's a first. Cuna de Cumpleaños. That's what they should call it. That's
going to go down in history, isn't it? The championship, the birthday. Oh, dearie me. Well, there we are. There's the first slip up of the day. There'll be many more throughout, I'm sure. But just to remind you, Francisco Gomez, Manuel Gonzales, and Miguel Parra on the front row of the grid as these riders start the race. 33.8 degrees is the ambient temperature now. 42.7 degrees is the track temperature.
Like I was saying, it makes a difference with the smaller bikes like these, the heat, and like we saw yesterday in qualifying, I think most of them, most of them did do quicker in qualifying 1, and which was less heat. But just to let you know, warm up this morning, which is the coolest out of the whole weekend at 9:40 a.m. Most of them, about 80% of them, did quicker in warm up than their qualifying lap times yesterday. So that just shows you that heat makes a difference.
Yeah, I can well imagine. So riders then completing their warming up laps in just a few moments' time. Let's just remind you of the championship before we go into this one. It's Manuel Gonzales who leads the way on 52 points. Andreas Perez, who doesn't look like he's starting this race, at least not from his grid position, is in second place on 45, so that could see a big change in the order. Alex Toledo's in third place on 39. Just behind him, though, is Simon Jespersen, still on 36 from his Albacete points haul. He's trying to fight for top 5, and we could well see anyone, really, inside the top 4 of the championship changing positions. Michael Kawakami is in 5th place in the championship, but he starts way down the order in 21st position. Meanwhile, there is Francisco Gomez. Tall old rider he is as well, just being 15 years of age. He's got a good amount of height on him, which is not a good thing on these motorcycles, really. You want to be small and minute, really, which is what we've seen a fair bit down the order with the 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds. But, of course, as you get older, you get taller. So... well, generally that's the case. It's not happened for me. I've not grown since I was about 14. I don't know about you, but there we are. So Francisco Gomez, Manuel Gonzales, and Miguel Parra on the front row of the grid. The second row, Alex Toledo, Andreas Perez, or a vacant space where Perez should be, and then Pierre to Pavalainen, who will get the drag down towards the first corner. European Talent Cup here in Valencia. That vacant space on the grid for Andreas Perez. We'll have to wait and see whether he's able to start the race from the pit lane. But Gomez, Gonzales, and Parra on the front row of the grid. The green flag then is waved at the back. In fact, no, I apologise. It's a yellow flag that's waved at the back because somebody has had a bit of a problem there. Somebody's stalled right at the rear end of the grid. That looks like it could be potentially Maria Bello, who's making her debut.
I think she was in the wrong spot.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. There we are. We'll have to wait and see what happened there. Nonetheless, we wait then for the race to get underway. The green flag is waved. The red lights come on. European Talent Cup in Valencia is underway. A great start from Manuel Gonzales in the middle of the second row. Francisco Gomez also gets away. Well, big crash though in the middle of the pack. A huge incident involving a couple of riders. Oh goodness, good thing to see is that they're up and okay. They just came together, but Manuel Gonzales leads the way ahead of Francisco Gomez. Let's have a look and see who is involved there. It's the number 93 in and amongst the mix there. I can't quite see from just looking at my entry list as well. There's Michael Kawakami on the right-hand side. Number 33, I apologise, who's in there. And that's... I can't quite see from my Philippe Rihashek. So, yeah, Rihashek and Kawakami caught up in that incident. Let's have a look, see if we can see what happened off the start here, Dakota. Let's see. They're very close on the grid. So, Rihashek, we're looking at number 33. Oh, he got bumped over and then just went into Kawakami, didn't he?
Yeah, he swifted left a bit and clipped, I'm not sure who he clipped, but then as soon as he clipped him, he basically fell over and hit the other kid. So hopefully I think they're okay anyways, but moments like that on the front straight are always dangerous. We've seen a couple in racing, and the outcome's usually not so good.
No, certainly isn't.
A lot of action actually happening in the front straightaway.
Absolutely, yeah, really going off. Miguel Parra now leads the way, we should say, just giving you a bit of an update. Miguel Parra leads the way ahead of Francisco Gomez, ahead of Manuel Gonzales, who right behind him is Alex Toledo as well. And this is behind Toledo, looking appears to be the line. Indeed, it is the finish rider. So keep an eye out for those guys. They're all lining a cert at the moment, and this is probably the class where we would see the field perhaps being the closest of the day. Meanwhile, Gonzales has a bit of a look up the inside of Gomez, but can't quite find a way through from the third position there. Now they've got the slipstream though, and this is where it's going to count for these riders as they come over the tyre line to complete their first lap out of 17 here in Valencia. Great start then from the number 26 Miguel Parra, but that's going to change as well. Very close indeed as Gonzales holds on to third place, nearly gets a nudge by Gomez going into that first corner. Incredibly close between those guys, and then all further back it's happening as well as Toledo sits in fourth position. Just behind him is number 27 of Perez. So Perez on the number 27 machine, holding on well, and actually has made a really good start there. So very interesting to see for Alejandro.
Gonzales gone underneath Gomez.
Yep, got his way through into turn number 3. Nicely done there for Gomez. And that's somebody else who's gone down. Who's that? Is that Davis? Oh no, Jamie Diaz and Iker Garcia. So two very big names in the European Talent Cup down after the opening lap. That's a very big shame there. We'll have to wait and see whether the incidents were connected. Here we go with Gonzales on the inside of Parra. Parra not relenting at all, not giving him an inch of room. Close racing indeed between these guys. None of them finished on the... in fact, no, I apologise. Gonzales finished in third position on the podium last time out. That's a great race. It is turning out to be for these riders. They're just a bit of daylight between themselves and Gomez now as well. Gomez is really having to incur the wrath of Alex in fourth position as well. 17 we are on here in Valencia. Very close indeed as Gonzales comes up the inside into turn 13. Has a think about it. Nudges his nose up the inside, but it's not really the place where you want to be getting past.
No, and especially now on the front straight with, slipstream so easy for these guys to pass each other. If you went underneath them, I think it'd be easier just to pass him on the straightaway like he's just doing now. So, but again, the race is really long, and he probably wants to see where he can pass, to see maybe for the last few laps where is the best place to pass.
Absolutely be interested to see what will happen. Daniel Sacco, meanwhile. Oh no, Gonzales crashing out the lead. It's spectacular start. He loses the front of turn 2. Just after setting the fastest lap. Manuel Gonzales. For the lead of the race. Oh dear, what a shame for the Spaniard. He was looking good, and that now hands Miguel Parra the lead of the race. Are they going to get him back in, or are they going to push him off the circuit? The team cannot believe it. The marshals pushing him on, but will he be able to get the bike started? He's only a small rider, and it takes a bit of effort to get one of these bumps.
Come on, it's got to start. It's got to start.
It takes one of these guys a bit of effort to bump start it. They're just, oh dear, what's going on? There's a bit of confusion going on, and he's out of the race. Manuel Gonzales, he is not a happy bunny. I wouldn't like to be involved in that debrief.
And especially, it hurts more when you're a kid too, like that. He knows he Yeah, we'll have to see, hopefully, a replay of it.
So now it means Francisco Gomez leads the way. It should have been Miguel Parra, but he's lost a bit of ground over the last half a lap or so. So Francisco Gomez, from pole position, leads the way. Miguel Parra in second place. Alex Toledo coming back on fourth. After a difficult race last time out in Catalonia, he is in third position. You can see there on the number 55. Doing a good job there as well for the Cuna de Campeones team. Meanwhile, also caught up in a bit of an overtaking duel as well from fourth down to sixth position. So it's between these guys, which is incredibly exciting. And then into the left hand of the back straight. Bit of a look over the shoulder there for Alex Toledo, the number 55. A good race so far is Toledo. He deserves it as well because he's been fighting really hard
for that first place.
Exactly. He competed in Pre-Moto 3 last year in the FIM Championship. Up to the European Talent Cup this year. Likewise, a lot of these Spanish riders, like Francisco Gomez, have all come through the Spanish hierarchy of championships, as it were. And it's great to see that they're opening it up to the rest of the Europe. We've got the likes of the British Talent Cup, and of course the Asia Talent Cup, where applications are now open for that as well. So if you're perhaps a budding young rider and you want to get yourself involved in motorcycle racing, is there an age limit? I want to see a bit more of those motorcycles.
Crazy thing, you know, happening, and now 12-year-olds are touching their elbows. It makes me feel so old in racing.
Sat sitting up and
yeah, you're lucky enough to touch your knee, you know, and they didn't even have knee sliders back then. It was basically duct tape on their knee, and there you go.
Exactly. How times change, how motorcycle racing evolves, and we're ever grateful for it. Miguel Parra has a sneaky look up the inside. The throaty noise, I should say, of those Honda 250 engines into the right-hander. Great race it's been for Gomez, with Parra and Toledo very close behind. Just trying to break themselves away. The top four, a little bit of daylight going between themselves and Perez and Melgar, who are battling for fifth and sixth position. Into the left-hander and going onto the back straight, and you wouldn't necessarily see any overtakes taking place here in Moto 2, but you might see it here in the European Talent Cup. There is number 77. Is that Andres Perez? So Perez did make the start of the race then. Here's race direction racing before that. Yeah, Dojiro Sacco is not. Yes, indeed, it is. Jump start. So that's what makes second. It is the first the race we had in Catalonia, and now he's going to get a jump start. He's going to go right towards the rear end of the grid, exactly as Francisco Gomez had in Catalonia.
Remember, I told you these bikes. It's a hell of a long ride through pit lane. It's nearly impossible for them to, you know, to gain back, especially
Let's wait and see what happens. 12 laps soon to become 11 as they come over the timing line remaining. The board is now out for race direction. There we go. Dojiro Sacco comes in. He knew he jumped the start. He didn't even need to see the board from race direction, did he? Straight down pit lane. He won't be very pleased with that, I'm sure. I can hear him thundering past now. At 37 miles an hour. He doesn't look too pleased, I've got to be honest with you. But nonetheless, back at the action here comes the number 27 of Sacco coming out of the pit lane now, back into contention. Well, I say in contention, right at the back end of the grid, and Maria Bello has gone down the order as well. So, her debut in the European Talent Cup doesn't look like she's going to finish it. Which is a big shame there for her, because she was a very promising name going into this weekend. A rider who's competed, of course, likewise in lots of Spanish championships. Has been very closely affiliated with the likes of Beatriz Nida, of course, who we've seen in Moto 3, and also the likes of Rare as well, perhaps trying to emulate what they were doing, and it's just not gone her way so far. She's raced in the Omni Championship, which is something a lot of riders doing in those 300cc championships. There, though, is Francisco Gomez, your leader. It's been a good race for Francisco Gomez. He needs a good race, needs a good result as well. I mean, just looking at the championship, Gomez not doing too badly at all, but he's had a bit of tough luck. He's not inside the person to just try and do that. He has to look over his shoulder. Wrong place, really, because that's going to upset the aerodynamic balance and perhaps allow the likes of Para to have a bit of a sneaky look up the inside.
And just to show you how close this, this class is, all the top, 7 guys are all basically 1/10 from each other, and doing 44.8s and a second slower than their best qualifying time, which I think the heat's affecting a bit. Also, good to see Hernandez in 8th, starting from the pit lane was not an easy thing either.
Absolutely, yeah, and Perez as well. We're not entirely sure of the field, but yeah, incredible race there for Perez. Up into 7th position. We didn't see him on the, as I said, we didn't see him on the grid in his 5th place starting.
Sorry, I meant Perez.
Yes. There's Alejandro Diaz, the number 27 for the Honda Impala team. Competed, of course, in the installation event last year, so he's running. He's got some good pedigree. Also raced likewise with a lot of different people in the RFE. Moto 3 championship last year with the team Honda Impala. So the team he knows well is an outfit he knows well. He's gelling really well. And there's Edouard Melgar on the other Ricardo Kame machine. Likewise, his teammate is Ferrer Hernandez. There's Diaz.
Be a long race for these boys, 17 laps. Like we saw in Moto 3, this is even harder to break away. You'll never. I think we haven't seen one race with one guy, breaking away. There's a cumpleaños.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm never going to live that down.
I'm never going to forget that now.
Meanwhile, number 55, Alex Toledo, goes up the inside of Para into turn 1. Para has another look up the inside into turn 2. Can't quite make it stick as they go deep on that corner there, but it really does help those riders hold on to that nice tight line. It's a beautiful corner. Likewise, turn 3. It's only when the turn that comes about, really, that the circuit sort of drops away and becomes a bit of a horrible corner.
Yeah, and people must think, oh, these boys must not be pushing these, till the last 3 laps, but I guarantee you they're pushing now.
And it's the heat that's going to affect these guys as well. It's the hottest day of the year that we've had so far. And a lot of these people, the likes of perhaps the Scandinavian riders, aren't used to racing such extreme heat.
Yeah, so exactly. The Spanish are used to it because they live in this weather. But then again, I think they're used to it. You get used to it throughout the weekend. Barcelona was a hot one too. So, and I don't think it's as hot as Barcelona. It doesn't feel as hot as Barcelona.
It was a hot one, yeah. Again, likewise with here, there wasn't any wind there.
Oh.
So it was a very hot weekend for us. Certainly, we were quite glad about the air-conditioned commentary box, which by comparison, it was quite arctic.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad going down to the podium, and interviewing these riders who are just
not hot or sweaty.
No, and I'm like, are you hot? I'm like, no, I've been in the booth for like 20 minutes in 14-degree weather.
Cooling down your core temperature.
Yeah.
Second place up for grabs, though, as Miguel Para slots out of the slipstream against Alex Toledo. They're under the bubble into the first corner. They'll be going in a few moments' time. Who's going to be the latest of the last breakers? On the brakes they go, carrying so much corner speed into there. It's so deceiving, that corner. You don't believe it. They're still
turn 1,
third, fourth gear, aren't they?
Turn 1, when I used to race 70s here, used to be flat out. So it just shows you how fast. You used to go about 140 in turn 1, so you can imagine how fast. It doesn't look fast on TV, but like you said, when you walk it, it's really open. It really opens quickly.
Perez Perez had a bit of a look up the inside of Edouard Melgar. That's a battle that's going on for P number 5. Should mention that Simon Jespersen has got himself up into 8th position. Sorry, 9th, I should say. Rather, he's got a bit of company in the form of Andres Rostatek behind him, and just in front of Jespersen actually is Ferran Hernandez. There's Edouard Melgar going hard on the brakes into the left-hander. Good season it's been for Melgar. As we said, lost out quite dramatically last time in Catalonia. He got hung out to dry in that final chicane. There was always an inevitability, really, with those machines of the bike. So many of them going into that corner. Lost out really significantly, so looking to try and make amends. Sitting in 4th place, not quite the podium scrap, but the top 3 though now, Dakota.
Yeah, like I was just about to say, the field looks like it's breaking up a bit. These three boys right here, you know, Gomez, Toledo, Para, were quick already from lap 1. They seem to have a little bit more than the rest of the field. But Gomez, I must say, has been leading most of this race. So, but then again, it'll be interesting to see the last few laps where Para and Toledo are stronger than him and see if they'll actually try to make a move. Para looks like he's trying to see how quick his bike is on the front straight, see if he can, you know, make a move into turn 1, maybe in the last few laps.
Here's Toledo on the inside on the brakes. Don't do a Gonzales through there, my son. Gets it stopped, thankfully, and holds on to second place. So it's a good race for Toledo, this, and it could catapult him to the front end of the championship. We'll have to wait and see what happens for the number 55. Francisco Gomez absolutely commanding this race out in front. In terms of lap times, it was a few tenths of a second slower than Miguel Perez. So lap 10 out of 17 we're on here in Valencia. Don't forget, of course, you can keep up to date with everything FIM CEV Repsol, www.fimcvrepsol.com for more information. You can also get the live timing of this race on there as well if you really want to keep up to date. Perhaps there's a certain rider that you're supporting, but do get in touch with us throughout the course of the day on Twitter as well, at CEV Motorcycle. We'd love to hear from you, love to hear your tweets and your thoughts on the racing that's taking place. It'd be really, really exciting to see what you're thinking about the racing that's going on, especially here in this European Talent Cup.
Looks like Melgar is
that's a big moment there for Alex Toledo. He gets himself all out of the seats and he's going to lose a bit of straight line speed. Will Para think about a move around the outside? No, thinks better of it, but will have the advantage and, of course, the speed going into that slipstream. All depends on drive out of that final straight, however. There's a really close racing going on, but not as much overtaking as perhaps we were expecting. I thought the racing would perhaps see a few more overtakes, but the guys just biding their time very nicely. I should say that Pevelainen is having a look at the inside of Melgar for 4th place, gets it done and dusted, does the finish rider. Nicely done into that first corner. But Francisco Gomez holding onto the lead of this race. Toledo in 2nd place. Para has a sneaky look up the inside into turn number 2 once again. There's a prime overtaking opportunity there, but it's not really a corner, as we had an incident there between Lucas Venderborn and Daijiro Sacco. That's a disaster there for Sacco, of course, who had a ride-through penalty earlier on. Let's see if we can see what happened. We just catch the end of the incident. They've just come together, haven't they? Whereabouts is that on track? That's just trying to catch it.
I have a feeling Sacco, you know, you can imagine Sacco, a fast rider, is coming through the field really quickly, and he's probably gone underneath him and lost the front or something, collected him.
That's a real shame there for both riders. Lucas Venderborn doesn't finish his first race in the European Talent Cup. That was actually at turn number 8. So that was the hairpin bend, the off-camber hairpin bend. It's easy to lose the front into there in defence of Daijiro, but nonetheless, 2 races and 2 very, very difficult races for Daijiro Sacco, 2 DNFs for him, unfortunately. Now 6 laps remaining, 5.5 or so, as we go into turn number 13. Lapping really consistently as well. Tyre wear doesn't seem to be an issue, but of course they're all lapping in the same sort of pace that it will become an issue for all of them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And if the first one's going to be going slow, the rest of them are. So it looks like this is going to be a 5-rider group till the end with what is it, six laps to go?
6 laps to go now as we come over the timing line, so we're very close indeed. Will Gomez be able to hold on to the lead, because he's just quick out of the straight? No one's really able to catch him.
Like I said, you know, Gomez has been leading this thing for most of it, so he looks comfortable in the front. No one's really tried to make a move to him.
Somebody's made some good ground, actually. I was just about to say.
That's part of that.
Yeah, from 4th up into 2nd over the last couple of laps. That's a great race there for the Finnish rider. He'll be looking to try and take his first win in the European Talent Cup. So the top 2 riders having taken a win in this championship so far. It's, of course, a brand new championship for 2017. Don't forget about the British Talent Cup that launches in 2018 as well. Applications for that have now closed as Miguel Para gets himself back on the inside. Big moment. Yeah, that was Edouard Melgar, who got himself all out of the seat, and now he drops a bit further back to Alex Toledo. Here we go there once again as Pevelainen has a look on the brakes but can't quite find a way through. Very close indeed. Don't forget, after this, we've got another Moto3 race for you, the second of the day, and then it's the final race, the Moto2 European Championship, but that one will be the full 17-lapper, unlike the 12-lap race that we were treated to in the earlier stages of the day because of the red flag that was the European Talent Cup, which is always good to see. Great to see so many people that have turned up to Valencia as well. It's a really wonderful circuit to be a part of. A lot of people are a bit critical about it because it's just full of grandstands all around it, but I have to say I really like it as well. I think if it perhaps had a few more trees and a bit more scenery and the like, I think a lot of people would really love it.
Yeah, and especially if you come here for the World Championship, it's a great race to come to because it's the last one of the season. A lot of people come to it, a lot, and there's a lot of people that sit outside the grandstands, and you'll see like it's just full of people, and it's a great racetrack to come to be honest. And it's one of my favorites. A lot of people, like you say, don't like it, but I do, and it's a great racetrack, like you say, to walk and watch and look over for a fan.
Exactly, change of lead now, finally, as Miguel Parra gets himself up into the front end of this race. The number 26 having a good run out there on track. It was a very competitive rider, competed in Pre-Moto3 last year in RMFE, but that was with the Estrella Lethia team for Miguel Parra. So he is a rider that is certainly used to doing very well. Look at the front end compression of Gomez's bike. The suspension fully down there, wasn't it? There was no room at all. Exciting to see. Through the right-hander and then into the quick left we go. That looks like a mighty hard lap on the races there. But is it an easy corner to lose the front end, would you say?
That's what. There's two corners in this racetrack that's really easy to lose the front. Is that corner right there where you just said, but a little bit earlier, right on the. It's not turn 11, it's turn 10, because you come after about 4 or 5 lefts, and it's going to be your first right, and it's a fast one too, where you brake, and you're not braking up straight up, you're braking a little bit leaned over. So it's I've crashed there, many people crashed there. You've seen a lot of crashes in MotoGP, and the outcome of it is not really pretty because it's a really fast corner, like he said.
So over the time line we go now. 4 laps remaining here in the European Talent Cup. Perez Pepperline pulls out the slipstream. He's going to get 2 in 1 into the first corner. He's going to think about it, but he can't better of it. He runs it a bit wide. Is that going to allow number 9 of Francisco Gomez to get back through on the brakes into turn 2? Not quite enough. But
Melgar and Diez have lost some ground too. They've swifted back a bit from this group lead. So it looks like it's going to be in between these 4. And it's going to be all a slipstreaming game.
5th and 6th places respectively are Diez and Melgar at the moment, so the top 5 occupied by those guys. Good race also for Perez, considering where he started. He's now up to P7, just ahead of Jespersen and Hernandez. So 4 laps now remaining, a 4-way battle for the lead in the European Talent Cup. Place your bets, ladies and gents, because it's going to be an exciting end to this race. Wait and see whether Miguel Parra can do the business, or will he have the likes of Francisco Gomez or indeed Pepperline, who's looking mighty there in 2nd position.
I always love these situations where it's 4 guys fighting for a podium, 3-place podium. So it's always a good, crazy few last laps, and it's always nice to see.
So 4 laps now remaining here in the European Talent Cup. Into the right and then to the left we go. And towards that final section of the lap. No smoking and rear end sliding on these bikes. Nice and in line. That's the name of the game in Moto2. It's interesting to note the difference between a Moto2 and a Moto3 bike is the fact that you have to be so smooth and carry momentum on a Moto3 bike.
Yeah, and even these bikes, like I said, I think I said in Barcelona, I got the chance. Here's a replay.
Have a look. This was Pepperline trying to bite off more than he could chew. How close was he to the back of Miguel Parra there? Didn't manage to make it stick 40, otherwise that could have been a very nasty crash there. Watching on the team in more anticipation, a bit of nervousness as well.
I think that was I think that was a nervy smile. Like I said in Barcelona, I had a chance of trying a 300 like these, and they have no power at all. So it's so important to carry that corner speed and high RPM, to basically gain, ground, because there's just no power. So as soon as you open the throttle, and if you make a small mistake, in this class, it's a big mistake in the other class. So.
Here's Para up the inside into second place. So Para moves himself ahead of Perez at the moment. Now Francisco Gomez has taken over that lead at the front of the race, holding on nicely. But here comes Toledo on the brakes as well. He's trying to find a way through into turn number 8. That off-camber corner. Really hard on the front end through there. 3 laps, 2.5 naturally now remaining here in the European Talent Cup. We thank you so much for joining us here in this race, because it's coming down to a very climatic end. Don't forget, we've got the second race of the Moto3 Junior World Championship along the way very, very shortly. And then after that, we'll have the final race of the day in the Moto2 European Championship. Bit line there for the leader of Francisco Gomez. Manages to hold the line very nicely, however, and then Perez is really closing up. I think Perez could win this. 3 laps remaining for the Finnish rider. He is going to see the red mist descending. Out of the final corner, over the timing line we go. Here is the European Talent Cup from Valencia. The teams willing the riders on. You can see the arms waving on the left-hand side of your screen. Who's going to lead the way into the first corner? Perez ducks out of the slipstream. Will he be able to duck later on the brakes? No, not quite. My goodness, that was very close indeed. Manages to hold on to it though, and here comes Para, because all the while these two are battling, it's going to allow Para, as he does so, up the inside into the hairpin. Into second place goes Miguel Para then, holds on to that rostrum for now. Holding on to the lead of the race is Francisco Gomez. Interesting to note though as well, the different riding styles that these guys are taking. There is the team watching on. They will be absolutely chewing their nails down to the bone at this stage of the race. 2 laps remaining, just under.
Yeah, these final laps are just like the first few laps. It's so scary, and if you leave a little gap, they're just going to come right underneath you like we saw.
Here we go then into the left-hander, so just over a lap remaining here at the European Talent Cup in Valencia. Place your bets, because it's going to get very tight and exciting indeed. Para has a bit of a dart up the inside into the hairpin, but can't quite find a way through there at the moment. Miguel Para holding on at the moment to second place. Alex Toledo as well. He could be a bit of an outside chance for the lead in this race. The country going up to the final lap when you're going up to that start-finish straight here. Do you want to be the rider that's leading, or do you want to be the rider that's attacking?
Well, I've been looking through the race, and it looks the finish line's really close. It's not too far away from the last corner. So I've been looking every lap, and it's really tough to get the slipstream across the finish line. So to be honest, I'd prefer to be coming out of last corner first, not second.
Here we go then, final lap of the European Talent Cup. Who's going to lead the way into turn 1? It's still Gomez, but here comes Perez up the inside of Para. Through the first corner we go. Will Para get a better exit? No, he doesn't. Here we go into turn 2. Gomez leads the way. Para in third place, trying to change that into second. They go into the hairpin. Gets the move done and dusted. Nice and clean there from the Spaniard. Gets the move absolutely beautifully, and now they're going to have to really try and attack to get themselves into the contention for the lead of this race. I think Toledo's just a little bit too far back at this stage in 4th place, but the leader of the race, Francisco Gomez, pieing for his first win in the European Talent Cup, trying to get himself out of 10th place in the championship.
Oh, there goes Para.
Here goes Para up the inside. Miguel Para, a brilliant move that was there from the Spanish rider. Likewise, a rider who's not finished on the podium, and Perez as well on the number 12. Here we go on the brakes into the turn number 8. No, dear, Gomez goes down, and he takes the number 12 of Perez with him. There was nowhere for the Finnish rider to go, and that means then that Alex Toledo wins, or will win. He'll lead the way. Look at the disbelief on their faces. Oh dear, but Alex Toledo, against all circumstances, on the final lap, I said he was too far away unless something happened, and exactly that is what happened. Gomez loses it on the brakes. Perez gets himself up into that strife, and now it becomes a 4-way scrap to a 2-way scrap. The final corner then awaits Alex Toledo, but it's not over yet. It's going to be a drag to the line. Miguel Para is going to try and dart his way through, but to the line, the race does go to Alex Toledo. What a win here in the European Talent Cup in Valencia. What a race from the Spaniard. Miguel Para takes second place, and in the gravel trap is Perez and Francisco Gomez. They will be absolutely apocalyptically cross with that one.
Toledo just went from 4th and just won the race.
incredible, isn't it? You don't see that happening very often.
That's probably the best feeling ever for him.
Absolutely, a race in the most unexpected of circumstances. I think he's pretty pleased with that one as well.
100%. I'd be too. And it's from the Cuna of Campeones.
Exactly, yeah. The Cuna de Campeones team, they are pretty happy. They're doing burnouts on the bikes as well. Wonderful. I can't wait to hear what Alex Toledo's got to say. His first ever win in the European Talent Cup here in Valencia. What a race from the Spaniard. And actually, we didn't mention Alejandro Diez, this man here, number 27, takes his first podium of the season as well. What a race there for the Spanish rider. So 3 Spaniards occupying the top 3 positions. Great guns there for Alejandro Diez. Brilliant to see. So Alex Toledo then, a race victor in that one after just over 23 minutes. I wouldn't want to be in the debrief for Francisco Gomez or Pietro Pervolini. Nothing Pervolini could have done through that corner. We'll see a replay, of course, on the highlights reel very, very shortly indeed. Of course, we'll get the podium out of the way, then we'll have the highlight, or sorry, we'll do the highlights reel, then we'll have a look at the podium, and then, of course, we'll go into the second race of the Moto3 Junior World Championship. But there is the race victor in the most unlikely of circumstances. Alex Toledo. What a race it's been from the 15-year-old. He's from Tarragona in Spain. He's around about an hour and a half from here. And I don't think he's too displeased with that one there either, do you? So just completing their cooling down laps are the riders. Dakota's headed his way down to Parc Ferme to interview this man here. The race victor, 15 years old, perhaps what you could call him as one of the elder statesmen in the European Talent Cup. We've got riders of 12 and 13 years of age in here as well. But here are the final results then. Alex Toledo, Miguel Parra, Alejandro Diez completes the podium. Edouard Melgar just missing out once again with Andreas Perez, Simon Jespersen, Ferran Hernandez, Andres Fostatek and Vincent Falcone also benefiting from the demise of Gomez and Pervolini right at the very end of that race. They were just inside the top 9. However, completing the top 10 position was Beatrice Neela, her first ever points in the European Talent Cup. We did mention her throughout the course of the race. Sorry about that, Beatrice, but there was so much going on at the front, we hardly had a chance to talk about it. But Beatrice Neela, her first ever points inside the top 10. Gregorio Novillac inside 12th position of the season in 13th place, and then comes Stefano Christian in 14th with Victor Alonso rounding out the final points paying positions. Jack Hart just missed out in 16th place, Jose Suarez in 17th, and Alex Toledo celebrating with his team. What a way to do it in style. Alex Toledo, his first ever win here in Valencia in the European Talent Cup. Look at that, he's delighted, and you can't say you blame him either. Great race also. Alejandro Diez also very, very pleased. Some smacks on the backside. Some good celebrations there. You will be very, very happy with that one. Can't wait to hear what Alejandro had to say in the post-race interview. As we mentioned, don't forget, of course, Moto3 Junior World Championship coming up very, very shortly indeed. There he is, Alejandro Diez. What a race. Gets the Dunlop winner's cap. Absolutely wonderful. You can see the temperatures rising now, 33.8 degrees it was at the start of that race. Tyre life didn't seem to be an issue, but of course they were all on the medium compound of tyres, so it didn't really affect them as much as it would have done if they had been on, of course, different compounds of tyres, as they were all effectively wearing at the same rate. But nonetheless, a very exciting race. You can just see on the left-hand side of the screen there on the first floor, it says, "You've made history." Well, that certainly happened today here in the European Talent Cup, and it's going to be very exciting to actually see what's happened in the championship. But now Dakota is down there with the race winner, Alex Toledo.
Alex, wow. Crazy last lap from 4th to 1st. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, incredible. At the first part of the race, I have some problem with the bike, but I learned my adversary, and I push very hard in the last lap, and he crashes, and I can win. Thank you to all the sponsors, people, and my family.
Thank you, and now in Spanish, please.
Bueno, he hecho una buena salida. Al principio de la carrera tenía algunos problemas con el tren delantero, pero bueno, he aprendido de mis rivales los he estudiado un poco y al final, bueno, he tenido un poco de suerte y se han caído. Y bueno, darle las gracias al equipo, a la familia y a todo el mundo en especial.
Well, you can't say he didn't try hard there. He sounds pretty out of breath, doesn't he? Here's some highlights then from the race. It was Francisco Gomez who got the jump from pole position. And Manuel Gonzales also got a good start on the number 18, but there was a massive crash off the sideline involving Maikon Kawakami and Philip Richacek. Unfortunately, both riders would not continue, but they were up and okay, which was the fortunate thing about that incident, as all the riders made it through the first corner. There was also contact further back down the order. That was between Ike Garcia and Jamie Davis. Big shame there for both riders failing to finish. Some big names in the championship falling in this race. Meanwhile, Francisco Gomez got dropped back to third position as Manuel Gonzales made his way up into the lead of the race. But looking so good, Gonzales for a good amount of time with Miguel Parra very close in tow. And then it was coming into this corner here where he lost the front and lost the rear in quick succession, span down the road and didn't manage to get going again. Manuel Gonzales failing to finish the race and in turn losing the lead of the championship. That left then the likes of Miguel Parra, Francisco Gomez, Alex Toledo and the likes to get themselves up in contention for the lead and the race victory. Over the timeline we went, Peter Perez was also looking like a big threat in fourth position as well as Alex Toledo made his way up into heat number 2. Over the timeline we went once again, keep an eye out for number 12 of Peter Perez, who was very close behind. Then comes Miguel Parra ahead of Alex Toledo, while Francisco Gomez led the way in the middle stage of the race as he began to settle down ever so slightly. We really thought that he might manage to romp away with the victory, but that was not to be, because up the inside came Alex Toledo in the latter half of that race. He looked good with Alex Toledo as they came over the timing line once again to start the last lap of racing. Peter Perez also looking very racy indeed. He managed to move his way up into second place with fourth on the start of that last lap. Into turn number 1 we went, looking very good indeed for Perez at the moment. Then Miguel Parra went up the inside of Perez. Went up into second position in that race. Into the right hand we went. Once again, Parra on the attack, moving his way ahead of the number 9 of Francisco Gomez. All looked so good for so long for Francisco Gomez. Over the timeline we went, here we go, trying to bite off perhaps a little bit more than he could chew there with number 12 of Peter Perez. Not managing to find his way through the race up into second place. And here we went then on to the last couple of laps of racing. Into turn 1, it was Gomez who led the way ahead of Perez. Here came Miguel Parra up the inside of the Finnish rider. What a great race going on there between those guys. The team watched on in anticipation, as did we here in the commentary box, and it's very hard on the brake. He just collided with the rear end of Alex Toledo. Toledo's nothing else to be taken out, but unfortunately, Peter Perez having nowhere to go, handing Alex Toledo his first ever win in the European Talent Cup. A great race for him, a great race for the team. And you can see he was understandably delighted with Miguel Parra finishing in second place and Alejandro
vencedores de esta
Diaz
European Talent Cup
in third.
en la prueba disputada en el circuit Ricardo Tormo.
Well, what a race we had there, Dakota. That was very exciting. The first all-Spanish podium we've had all day as well.
Yeah.
Don Pedro Atencia, en representación de la compañía Repsol, entregará el trofeo al jefe del equipo vencedor, cuna de campeones, David Tomás.
You can see that he was kind of a little bit far back to win it. But, yeah,
Don Gonzalo Gobert, director del circuito Ricardo Tormo, entregará el trofeo al tercer clasificado, Alejandro Diez.
He's the one who won it, so.
There we go. Alejandro Diez collects his trophy for third position.
Jean-Marc Desny, vicepresidente de la FIM CEV, entregará el trofeo al segundo clasificado, Miguel Parra.
I interview one of these boys, I feel like, are you old enough to be riding a bike?
Yeah, it's quite surprising, isn't
Don
it?
Gonzalo Gobert, director del circuito Ricardo Tormo, entregará el trofeo para el vencedor de esta carrera de la European Talent Cup, Alex Toledo.
And these guys are able to do it as well as they do. It's just
Finalmente, don Sergio García, representando a la compañía Repsol, entregará el cheque de carburante gratis para el vencedor de la carrera, Alex Toledo.
I don't think he'll be using much. Good Christmas. I think it's a good Christmas present for his family.
I mean,
escuchamos en honor del vencedor el himno nacional.
No.
Y ahora el momento de celebrarlo en lo alto del podio.
We gotta go.
Ahí están con la gaseosa los jóvenes pilotos.
Exactly, I can imagine they're in a bit of a rush. There's a cassette being sprayed and thrown over. It doesn't go as well as champagne.
No, they're just throwing it.
Yeah. They've got no other choice. What a race in the European Talent Cup. What is this going to mean then for the championship?
Y ahora ya la fotografía para el recuerdo con los trofeos, los cascos, esa victoria de Alex Toledo.
Alex Toledo.
Que le pone líder
just posing for the
en
photograph.
El campeonato con Miguel Parraquí segundo y Alejandro Díez tercero.
We'll have to wait and see.
Un aplauso último para los chavales que han hecho una grandísima carrera.
Let's have a look then, shall we? Here are the championship standings. Alex Toledo does lead the way in the championship. Absolutely bang on there, Dakota. But by 8 points to Andreas Perez, who managed to recover after not starting from his start position. Manuel Gonzales, despite that DNF, is in third place with Miguel Parra moving up to fourth. Simon Jesperson holds on to fifth position. 18 points drift after finishing inside the top 10. Edouard Melgar in sixth place. Alejandro Díez in seventh after that third place finish. Michael Kawakami in eighth. Johan Uvinia having a difficult weekend here. Ike Garcia inside the top 10, unfortunately failing to finish after that contact with Jamie Davis. Francisco Gomez, Andres Mostatek, Matthew Gregorio, Peter Kovalainen, Jamie Davis. Then comes Fernandez, Vincent Falcone, and Beatrice Needham with her first ever points in that top 10 finish. An eye out for her in the latter half of this season. Stefano Kristin, Oriol Nybalak, then comes Fran Petiero, Colin Crock-Hazen, Callum Blackwell, who took his first points this weekend as well, and Victor Alonso leads the championship standings in 24th position. But what a race, what a European Talent Cup. Up next, it is the second race of the day for the Moto3 Junior World Championship, live here from Valencia. Join us in just a few moments and we'll bring you more coverage of that. So just to remind you, of course, you can keep in touch with everything FIM CEV Repsol on Twitter at CEV Motorcycle. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/FIM CEV Repsol, or just type in CEV Repsol into your search bar. Or you can visit the website to find out all the latest information about the championship and keep up to date with all the latest goings on. Of course, there's been a couple of technical partners announced for 2018 in the form of Del Auto and the like as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the form of going into the next season, of course, with the European Talent Cup, Moto3, Moto2, etc. Very excited to see how that gets on. As we said, Moto3 race along the way for you in just a few moments' time. Pit lane is now open. Riders exiting pit lane, and then we'll get ready to get this race underway. How exciting is that going to be? Well, if it's anything as exciting as race one, then very is the answer. Dennis Vodger, of course, taking his first ever win in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Excited to bring you coverage of that race. So, riders now going back out of pit lane and heading themselves on to the grid. Their sighting lap. They'll head on to their starting positions. Of course, the starting positions are exactly the same as the ones we had for the first race, but Moto3 up next.